I'd now like to introduce Jenny Carter. Jenny is the Executive Manager of Strategy and Business Development at Women's Health and Family Services. Jenny believes that it's important to keep gender-specific services, but there is a need for services to collaborate with each other to improve client pathways. To tell us more, please welcome Jenny Carter.
Thank you very much for that. I guess just listening to the first two speakers, I was thinking, what am I going to say today that's going to make some impact on you? And I guess one very observant man down the front said, really, us getting together here today is so much about inclusion, and I think so much of our society we are excluding people. There's little groups here and there's little groups there, and I think when we're all coming here together today, and men's health and women's health, we often see them as being completely separate. I guess as a women's health organisation, we believe that unless we include men on the journey, then we can't actually support the women that work with us. So I think today we're talking about integration and collaboration, but it is so important, I think, for us all to unite. I think as the statistics show, we've got more and more complex health issues in our society. Why? I don't know. Families moving away, communities not connecting, life maybe moving too fast, maybe values changing, maybe not finding a place where do we get our values from. But there are more and more complex needs and issues that we're facing every day. And I guess I've been in the health sector for a number of years now, and there are so many good meaning, fantastic programs that are out there, but many of them work so hard because they're working in isolation. If we brought all of those together, could we perhaps be a little bit more effective in the reason that we're probably all working in the jobs that we're in at? So I guess, how do we do that? It's not easy. And I guess, having peak bodies, having boards, men's health and wellbeing, it's a start. Jack said that do we need a peak? I think we do need a peak. We need a voice. Because for all the men's organisations that are out there, how does any one organisation speak up? So if we get involved with that peak, I believe that person can speak on our behalf. We've got our lady Alison Evans, who is the executive for the Women's Health Peak for the Community Network. She's just recently been over to Adelaide with Simone McGurk speaking on behalf of women, on behalf of gender issues. Men and women are different. I think we all know that, but just not physically. There's lots of ways that we're different, and it's important that we honour the differences, I think, of the gender and the differences that we do have. I guess just to give you a little bit of information about our background as an organisation and maybe why we feel that we have something to say. We have been around for 40 years. We probably started off as a bit of a feminist organisation 40 years ago, but it's very much changed. It was women's health, it now includes women's health and family. The family was to bring men into the picture as well, not just to keep them out on the shelf and keep them away, that they are important. We're a not-for-profit organisation. Our funding comes from about 15 different government bodies, from some philanthropists, some donations, and we survive on those 15, I think maybe 15 to 20 different organisations. So the last couple of years we've felt that it was going to be really difficult for us because of government funding. We as an organisation have had to step up. We've had to look for more grants. We've had to be more efficient and effective with our data, with our reporting, the way that we evaluate things. I think seeing the changes, reflecting on what's happening out there and moving with the change is really important. So we can't get stuck doing the same things that we were doing 10 years ago, because the world is changing very, very rapidly. One of the things that we believe that we do well is that we don't just do one service. So we tend to focus, whilst we're very similar in improving the health and wellbeing, we are working mainly with vulnerable women, with disadvantaged, low socioeconomic women, but many women that have complex issues. So family domestic violence, mental health, alcohol and drug addiction, eating disorders. We have general counsellors, we have a clinic, we have... maybe if I just take you on the journey of one of the women, I won't give a name, but of a woman that comes to us, because we don't have a crisis centre, but we have a domestic violence MWAS and DVAS, where women can come with their issues. So they get seen by counsellors, they get seen by advocates. They then may go in to see our clinic. Many of these women have been sexually assaulted and therefore have issues. They may then move into a group support program, individual support programs. We run alcohol and drug addiction, we run parenting programs. There's a lot out there. We also then encourage women to get into jobs and education. So we have an education and training and health promotion section. We have a dietitian. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that we take that individual, not just because they're a family domestic violence victim, they are a person with many needs, many wants. So housing, financial, parenting, their own physical health. There's so much that make up the individuals that we all are. And I think if we treat that in isolation, then sometimes we're only treating part of the problem. So many women that if we help them out with their domestic violence, but we don't get them some sort of assistance or get them into employment or some financial stability, they will possibly end up back in the same situation. So that integrated model, and I know Dean did see it come up on one of the slides, we'll be talking a little bit about that, but to us it's crucial. And I guess in the sector, what I'm seeing is that there's a lot of organisations out there, as I said, that we network with. We work closely with universities, TAFEs, we have student placement programs, we have volunteer programs, we get all of our projects evaluated by university students and groups, which is crucial. So we work closely with them and have been doing for a number of years. But there's all the other stakeholders, the Relationships Australia I see here today, Mates in Construction, we've been out and visited some time ago, but it's so important for us all to come together at these meetings, I think, to be able to realise that together we can actually do a lot more than if we're working just singly as an organisation. So I guess for me the hardest thing that I've seen in this industry is the client referral pathways. And for a woman that comes to us, and we had one come a couple of months ago, she had to tell her story. She'd been telling her story to about 6 to 10 different organisations, from the police to the doctor to the counsellors, retelling that story over and over again, which is extremely traumatic. We are a trauma-informed organisation that realises the impact that trauma has on people, whether it's in their older years or whether it's in their younger years. And for anyone that's experienced that, that can affect the whole way that we live and the way that we are. So, really giving attention to people and being able to assist them in that collaborative way, I think is just vital. And as I said, as Men's and Women's Health Organisation, we actually started an MOU with Men's Health and Wellbeing, I think it was about 18 months ago, realising that we needed to work together. How do we do that? I guess we're still growing, we're still evolving, we're still learning what's the best way to do things. But I guess the peak organisations, the strategy, the policy at government level, all of those things are important. But just meeting, sharing stories, I was talking to someone else who was into cybersecurity today. So just talking about all the demands that we have on us as organisations and as people. We can all learn, just even the people I've spoken in here to today. I've learnt something from every single person that we've had a conversation. So I'm probably not going to talk much more because I guess we'll have that bit of a Q&A, but I guess that just the importance of today for us is, I think it's a privilege. I'm really excited that we can be here together. I was extremely lucky to have parents that treated their sons and daughters very equally from the time we were born. We weren't seen as boy and girl, we were just seen as the children and treated with that respect. And for me, I think having that privilege and that upbringing, I would like to see that in our everyday life, in everything that we do. So I think the coming together today of the two organisations to be able to talk with everyone else that here is a great step forward. So thank you very much.